ICSE 2015 question paper. Question number 1. Name the following. The process of uptake of mineral ions against the concentration gradient using energy from cell active transport. Next, the form in which glucose is stored in liver, glycogen. The next, the vein that carries oxygenated blood, pulmonary vein. Next, the cross between two parents having one pair of contrasting characters, monohybrid cross. Next, the structure formed by the villi of embryo and the uterus of mother, placenta. Next, the statements given below are fill in the blanks. Alpha cells of pancreas secrete glucagon. Formalin is an example of disinfectant. Sulfur dioxide is mainly responsible for the formation of acidic rain. Sulfadiazine is an example of sulfonamide. Cretinism is caused due to deficiency of thyroxine. Next question, fill in the blanks. A single highly coiled tube where sperms are stored, get concentrated and mature is known as epididymis. Next, chromosomes get allied at the center of the cell during metaphase. Next, BCG vaccine is effective against tuberculosis. Next, the part of the brain is mainly associated with the maintenance of posture, cerebellum. Next, which one of the following is mainly associated with maintenance of posture? Uh, Maintenance of posture. Cerebellum, an example of biodegradable waste, DDT. Next question. Mention the exact location of the following structures. Thylakoids. Thylakoids are found in stroma of chloroplast in plant cells. Next, organ of Corti. Organ of Corti is found in the middle canal of spiral shaped cochlea of inner ear. Next, lenticels. Lenticels are raised pores in the stems of woody plants. These are special openings that develop in the older stem in place of stomata. Number 4, bicuspid valve. Bicuspid valve is situated between the left atrium and left ventricle of the heart. Number 5, loop of Henle is a hairpin shaped section of human kidney tubule situated between the proximal and distal tubules in the nephron. Next, the diagram given below represents a certain stage of mitosis. Identify the stage of cell division, anaphase. Name the parts labeled A and B, spindle fibers and centromere. What is the unique feature observed in this stage? Unique feature touches the two sister chromatids of each chromosome separate and are drawn apart towards the opposite poles. Next, how many daughter cells are formed from this type of cell division? Two daughter cells are formed from this type of cell division. Next, the diagram below shows two test tubes A and B. Test tube A contains a green water plant. Test tube B contains both a green water plant and a snail. Test tubes are kept in sunlight. Answer the questions that follow. Name the physiological process that releases the bubbles of oxygen, photosynthesis. Explain the physiological process as mentioned in question number 2.1. Photosynthesis is the process by which green parts of a plant produce food in the presence of light energy, carbon dioxide and using water. As a result of photosynthesis, plant release oxygen. Next, the snail kept in test tube B breathe out carbon dioxide. Key question: what is the purpose of keeping a snail in test tube B? Snail kept in test tube B breathe out carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide is utilized by green plant for photosynthesis. Number 4. Why does test tube B have more bubbles of oxygen? Since a snail is kept in test tube B, it breathes out carbon dioxide in the water. Because of this carbon dioxide, the rate of photosynthesis in this plant is greater than in the plant kept in test tube A. So, greater rate of photosynthesis release more amount of oxygen, giving more bubbles. Next, question number 5. Give an example of a water plant that can be used in above experiment. Hydrilla. Write the overall chemical equation for the above process. 6CO2 plus 12H2O gives C6H12O6 plus 6O2 plus 6H2O. Give the biological or technical terms for the following: a mixture of smoke and fog, smog, capacity of our body to resist diseases, immunity, fixing of developing zygote on the uterine wall, implantation, the permanent stoppage of menstruation at the age of 45 years in female, menopause. Uh, The hormone increasing reabsorption of water by kidney tubules, ADH, antidiuretic hormone or vasopressin, a skin membrane covering the entire front part of the eye, conjunctiva, the lens of eye losing flexibility resulting in a kind of long-sightedness in middle-aged people, conjunctiva. The number of persons living per hypermetropia, the lens of eye losing flexibility resulting in a kind of long-sightedness in middle-aged people. Hypermetropia. The number of persons living per square kilometer at any given time. Population density. The sound produced when the atrioventricular valves close in heart. Lab. The process by which white blood cells engulf bacteria. Phagocytosis. Given below is an example of certain structure and its special functional activity. On a similar pattern, fill in the blanks with the suitable functions. Chloroplast, photosynthesis, xylem, transport of water and mineral nutrients, ciliary body, accommodation of eye, seminiferous tubules and spermatogenesis. কি ciliary body, accommodation of eye, seminiferous tubule and spermatogenesis. এটার কি ক্লোরোপ্লাস্ট ফটোসিনথেসিস জাইলেম ট্রান্সপোর্ট অফ ওয়াটার এন্ড মিনারেল নিউট্রিয়েন্ট সিলিয়ারি বডি অ্যাকোমোডেশন অফ আই সেমিনিফেরাস টিউবিউল অ্যান্ড স্পারমেটোজেনেসিস লিখে রেখে দিয়েছে থাইরয়েড গ্ল্যান্ড থাইরক্সিন ইউস্টেশিয়ান টিউব equalizing air pressure on both ear drums. Complete the following sentences. The phenomena of loss of water through a cut stem or injured part of a plant is called bleeding. Pisum sativum is the scientific name of garden pea which Mendel used for his experiments. A fluid that occupies larger cavity of the eyeball behind the lens is called vitreous humor. Oxygen combines with hemoglobin present in RBC and forms oxyhemoglobin. Acid rain causes corrosion of the marble or brick surface. Match the following allele, alternate forms of genes. Leydig cells, testosterone. Utriculus, static equilibrium. Snake bite, tourniquet, QUET. Euro 4 norms, control of automobile exhaust, allele, alternate forms of genes, Leydig cells, testosterone, utriculus, static equilibrium, snake bite, tourniquet, QUET, TORNIQUET, eco. Euro 4 norms, control of automobile exhaust. Next, an apparatus as shown below was set up to investigate a physiological process in plants. The setup was kept in sunlight for 2 hours. Droplets of water was then seen inside the bell jar. Answer the questions that follow. Name the process being studied. Transpiration. Explain the process named above in question number 3A. Transpiration is the loss of water from aerial parts of the plant. All plants continuously absorb water through their roots. More than 90% of this water is lost to the atmosphere as water vapor during transpiration. Next, why was the pot covered with plastic sheet? To avoid evaporation of water from the soil, the pot was covered with plastic sheet. Suggest a suitable control for this experiment. A control for this experiment may include the similar pot with soil without a plant. The pot should be covered with plastic sheet as in the experimental setup. Now the whole uh, pot should be covered with a bell jar. Transpiration. Mention two ways in which this process is beneficial to plants. Transpiration is beneficial to plants in the following ways. Cooling effect. Transpiration reduces temperature of the plant even when it is exposed to bright sunlight. Translocation helps in the translocation of water and minerals to xylem. There are adaptations to reduce excessive transpiration. কি কি অ্যাডাপ্টেশন লাগে লিভস মডিফাইড টু স্পাইন্স সানকেন স্টোমাটা লিভস উইথ থিক কিউটিকেল এবার নেক্সট কোয়েশ্চেন ব্রিফলি আনসার দ্য ফলোইং কোয়েশ্চেন স্টেট টু রিজনস ফর দ্য ইনক্রিজ অফ পপুলেশন ইন ইন্ডিয়া illiteracy or religious and social customs. What is the significance of amniotic fluid? Amniotic fluid protects the embryo from physical damage by shocks or jerks, prevents sticking of fetus to the amnion, and allows the fetus some movement. Next question. Mm, what is the function of ear ossicles? Ear ossicles transmit vibrations of the tympanum across the middle ear to oval window, which transfers them to the inner ear. Number four, mention two activities of who. Two activities of who are to collect and supply information about the occurrence of diseases of epidemic nature, to suggest effective measures to prevent spread of diseases to others. Ever next question, state Mendel's law of dominance. Mendel's law of dominance, out of pair of contrasting characters present in parents, only one character is able to express itself in first generation while the other remains suppressed. The expressed character is called dominant while the unexpressed one is called the recessive. The diagram below are cross section of blood vessels. Identify by blood vessels ABC, artery, vein and capillary. Name the parts labeled 1, 2, 3. Connective tissue, endometrium or lumen. Next, name the type of blood that flows through a oxygenated blood except pulmonary artery. Oxygenated blood except pulmonary artery. Mention one structural difference between A and B. Artery or vein difference. Arteries have thick and more muscular walls. Veins have thin and less muscular walls. Valves are present in artery. Valves are absent in artery. Or valves are present in vein. Blood flows under great pressure in artery. Blood flows under great pressure in vein. Next, in which of the above vessels law does exchange of gases actually take place? Only in capillaries the exchange of gases take place. Differentiate between the following pairs on the basis of what is mentioned within brackets. Diffusion and osmosis. Definition. Diffusion is a free movement of molecules of a substance from the region of their higher concentration to a region of their lower concentration. Osmosis is the diffusion of water molecules across a semi permeable membrane from higher concentration to lower concentration region. RBC WBC shape. RBC are minute biconcave disc like structures, flat in the center and thick rounded at the periphery. WBC, most of the WBCs are amoeboid in shape. Next, tubectomy and vasectomy. In tubectomy, the fallopian tube or oviducts are cut and then tied with nylon threads to close the passage of egg. In vasectomy, vas difference from each testis is cut, then both the cut sides are tied with nylon threads. Next, vasopressin or insulin difference. Vasopressin deficiency of vasopressin hormone causes diabetes insipidus. Insulin deficiency of insulin causes diabetes mellitus. Rods of retina contain pigment rhodopsin. Cones of retina contain pigment iodopsin. Next, the diagram given below shows a section of human kidney. Study the diagram carefully and answer the questions that follow. Label the parts number 1 to 4. 1 is cortex, 2 is medulla, 3 is renal pelvis, 4 is ureter. Why does part 2 have striped appearance? Mane medulla. Medulla, of kidney have striped appearance because the medulla is composed of a finely striped substance arranged in several conical pyramids. Next, urine. What is the fluid that passes down part 4? Main nitrogenous waste present in it. Urine passes through ureter into the urinary bladder. The main nitrogenous waste present in it are urea, uric acid, ammonia, creatinine. Number 4. Mention the structural and functional unit of kidney. Nephron is the structural and functional unit of kidney. Name the two major steps in formation of fluid mentioned in question number 5.3. Ultrafiltration and reabsorption are the two major steps in the formation of urine. Ultrafiltration, reabsorption are the two steps in the formation of urine. Draw a neat and level diagram of the following. Malpighian capsule আর myelinated neuron এই দুটো ড্রয়িং করতে বলেছে লেভেল ডায়াগ্রাম. Next, the diagram given below shows the male urinogenital system of a human being. Study the diagram and answer the questions that follow. Male urinogenital system এর ইয়ে করতে বলেছে মাইলিনেটেড নিউরনের ছবিটা এঁকেছে এই স্টাডি ডায়াগ্রাম এগুলো পার্টগুলোকে লেবেল করতে দিয়েছে. এবার ম্যালফিজিয়ান ক্যাপসুলের ছবিটায় হচ্ছে গ্লোমেরুলার ফিল্ট্রেট, গ্লোমারুলাস, ইফারেন্ট আর্টেরিওল, অ্যাফারেন্ট আর্টেরিওল, বাউম্যান্স ক্যাপসুল এই পাঁচটা লেবেলিং করেছে. আর মাইলিনেটেড নিউরনে ডেনড্রন, ডেনড্রাইট, সাইটন, নিউক্লিয়াস, অ্যাক্সন, নোড অফ রেনভিয়ার, মাইলিন শীথ, অ্যাক্সন এন্ডিংস এগুলো সব এঁকে আর লেবেল করেছে. আর ওই যে মেল ইউরিনারি ব্লাডার ইউরিনারি সিস্টেমটার পয়েন্ট করতে বলেছিল ওই পার্টসগুলো হচ্ছে ইউরিনারি ব্লাডার, ইউরেটার, প্রস্টেট গ্ল্যান্ড, ভাস ডেফারেন্স, ইউরেথ্রা, টেস্টিস, স্কটাম, এপিডিডাইমিস. এবার বলছে নেম দ্য করেসপন্ডিং স্ট্রাকচার অফ পার্ট 4 ইন ফিমেল রিপ্রোডাক্টিভ সিস্টেম. মানে পার্ট 4-এ কি ছিল? ভাস ডিফারেন্স. তার করেসপন্ডিং স্ট্রাকচার ফিমেল রিপ্রোডাক্টিভ সিস্টেমে কি হবে? ওভিডাক্ট অর ফ্যালোপিয়ান টিউব. এবারে হোয়াট ইজ দ্য রোল অফ পার্ট 7? পার্ট 7 মানে স্ক্রটাম. স্ক্রটামের রোল কি? স্ক্রটাম is a sac of skin that supports the testes. It is outside the body cavity and allows sperm to develop at optimum temperature. Next, in homozygous plant, round seeds are dominant over wrinkled seeds. Draw a Punnett square to show the gametes and offspring when both the plants have heterogeneous round seeds. Capital R small r কি P1 equals to capital R small r, P2 equals to capital R small r দিয়ে ওটাকে গেমে ইয়ে করেছে ওই পানেট স্কোয়ার এঁকেছে. নেক্সট, মেনশন দ্য ফিনোটাইপ এন্ড জেনোটাইপ রেশিও অফ অফস্প্রিং ইন F2 জেনারেশন. F2 হচ্ছে ক্যাপিটাল আর ক্যাপিটাল আর ক্যাপিটাল আর স্মল আর ক্যাপিটাল আর স্মল আর আবার দুটো স্মল আর. ফেনোটাইপ রেশিও কি হবে? 3:1. জিনোটাইপ রেশিও কি হবে? 1:2:1. এবার নেক্সট কোয়েশ্চেন, মেনশন দ্য ফেনোটাইপ এন্ড জেনোটাইপ রেশিও অফ অফস্প্রিং ইন. আচ্ছা, নেম দ্য সেক্স ক্রোমোসোম ইন হিউম্যান মেলস অ্যান্ড ফিমেলস. সেক্স ক্রোমোসোম ইন হিউম্যানস মেল হচ্ছে XY অ্যালোজোমস আর ফিমেলস হচ্ছে XX অটোজোমস. এবার নেক্সট কোয়েশ্চেন, briefly explain the term mutation. Mutation is sudden change in one or more genes or in number of structure of chromosomes in the progeny which may not have existed in parents, grandparents or great grandparents. Ki mutation is sudden change in one or more genes or in number of structure of chromosomes in the progeny which may not have existed in the parents or grandparents or great grandparents. There are 23 chromosomes in each gamete of human being. নেক্সট কোয়েশ্চেন, একটা ছবি দিয়েছে, ডায়াগ্রাম দিয়েছে হার্টের, সেটার নেম দ্য ফেজ। Ventricular systole. Which part of the heart is contracting in this phase? Uh, Ventricular muscles are contracting in this phase because the atria relax. Name the parts revealed from 1 to 4. Pulmonary artery, aorta, mitral valve, aortic valve, pulmonary valve. Which type of blood flows through two? Through aorta. Oxygenated or pure blood? State the function of the parts numbered 5. Pulmonary valves are pocket shaped. They let the blood pass into the pulmonary artery when open, but when closed, they produce the sound lap to prevent flow of blood back into the ventricles. Next, name the membrane that covers the heart, pericardium. Explain the following terms. Greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect is a natural process in which certain gases called greenhouse gases trap heat that radiates from the Earth's surface. The greenhouse gases function much like the glass panels that trap heat inside the greenhouse. এবার Targar pressure, the pressure of the cell contents on the cell wall is called Targar pressure. The pressure of the cell contents on the cell wall is called Targar pressure. Selective reabsorption. The glomerular filtrate entering the renal tubule is an extremely dilute solution containing glucose and many salts. As the filtrate passes down, a good amount of water is reabsorbed together with the salts, but this reabsorption is only to an extent that normal concentration of the blood is not disturbed. It is called selective reabsorption. Next question, natality. Natality is the number of births per thousand individuals in the population per year per average number of children per unit time. Pulse is the rhythmic and alternate contraction and relaxation of the wall of the artery during ventricular systole. It can be felt in certain areas like wrist. এবার ICSE 2018. Name the following: the organization which procures and supplies blood during emergency, Red Cross. The blood vessel which supplies blood to liver, hepatic artery. The number of chromosomes present in nerve cell of a human being, 46 but 23 pairs of chromosomes. The layer of eyeball that forms the transparent cornea, sclerotic layer. The wax-like layer on epidermis of leaves which reduces transpiration, cuticle. Next, choose the correct answer from each of the four options given below. Number of spinal nerves in human being are 31. Next, which one of the following is non-degradable? DDT. Aqueous human is present between the cornea and lens, a strong chemical substance which is used on objects and surfaces in our surroundings to kill germs. Cresol. Which one of the following is a greenhouse gas? Methane. Complete the following paragraph by fill in the blanks with appropriate words. To test a leaf for starch, the leaf is boiled in water to kill the cells. Then it is then boiled in methylated spirit to remove the chlorophyll. The leaf is dipped in warm water to soften it. It is placed in a petri dish and iodine solution is added. The region of leaf which contains starch turns blue-black in color, and the region which does not contain starch turns brown. Next, Cretinism, hyposecretion of thyroxine. Diabetes insipidus, hyposecretion of vasopressin. Exophthalmic goiter, hypersecretion of thyroxine. Adrenal virilism, hypersecretion of adrenal cortex. Dwarfism, hyposecretion of growth hormone. Next question. Correct the following statements by changing the underlined words. Normal pale yellow color of urine is due to the presence of pigment melanin. The outermost layer of meninges is pia mater. The cell sap of root hair is hypotonic. Xylem transport starts from leaves to all parts of the plant body. Nitrogen bonds are present between the complementary nitrogenous bases of DNA. কি এগুলো সব ভুল। কারেক্ট দ্য ফলোইং স্টেটমেন্টস বাই চেঞ্জিং দি আন্ডারলাইন ওয়ার্ডস। নর্মাল পেল ইয়েলো কালার অফ ইউরিন ইজ ডিউ টু দ্য প্রেজেন্স অফ পিগমেন্ট কল্ড ইউরোক্রোম নট মেলানিন। দি আউটারমোস্ট লেয়ার অফ মেনিনজেস ইজ ডুরা ম্যাটার, পিয়া ম্যাটার নয়। দ্য সেল স্যাপ অফ রুট হেয়ার ইজ হাইপারটনিক, হাইপোটনিক নয়। ফ্লোয়েম ট্রান্সপোর্ট স্টার্চ ফ্রম লিভস টু অল পার্টস অফ দ্য প্লান্ট বডি, জাইলেম নয়। Hydrogen bonds are present between the complementary nitrogenous bases of DNA. Next, choose between two options to answer the question specified in the brackets for the following. An example is illustrated below. Corolla or calyx, which is key meter world calyx. Blood in the renal artery or renal vein, which one has more urea? Renal artery. Perilymph or endolymph, which one surrounds the organ of Corti? Endolymph. Lenticels or stomata, which one remains open always? Lenticels. Sclerotic layer or choroid layer, which one forms the iris? Choroid layer. Blood in the pulmonary artery or pulmonary vein, which one contains less hemoglobin? Oxyhemoglobin, pulmonary artery. Next, given below is the representation of a type pollution. Name the type of pollution shown in the picture. Air pollution. Name one source of this pollution. Smoke from vehicles. How does this pollution affect human health? Air pollution results in respiratory problems, lungs disorder. Write one measure to reduce this pollution. Use of unleaded petrol and of CNG. Are switching off automobile engines at red lights and when not in use. Next, state one gaseous compound that leads to depletion of ozone layer and creates ozone holes. Chlorofluorocarbons released from refrigerators, aerosol sprayers, etc. ঠিক আছে, choose the odd one out from the following terms given and name the category to which the others belong. Detergents, x-rays, sewage, oil pills. x-rayটা আলাদা। আর বাকিগুলো হচ্ছে কেমিক্যাল পলিউটেন্টস, মানে ডিটারজেন্ট, সিভেজ, অয়েল স্পিল সব কেমিক্যাল পলিউটেন্টস। এক্সরেটা অড ওয়ান আউট। এবার লিউমেন, মাস্কিউলার টিস্যু, কানেকটিভ টিস্যু, পেরিকার্ডিয়াম, এগুলো মধ্যে অড ওয়ান আউট কে লিউমেন, আর বাকিগুলোকে কানেকটিভ টিস্যু, মানে মাস্কুলার টিস্যু, কানেকটিভ টিস্যু, পেরিকার্ডিয়াম তিনটেই কানেকটিভ টিস্যু। এবার ডেনড্রাইট, মেডুলারি শীথ, অ্যাক্সন, স্পাইনাল কর্ড, কোনটা অড ওয়ান আউট? স্পাইনাল কর্ড। বাকিগুলো কি? পার্টস অফ নার্ভ সেল। সেন্ট্রোজোম, সেল ওয়াল, সেল মেমব্রেন, লার্জ ভ্যাকিউলস। সেন্ট্রোজোমটা হচ্ছে অড ওয়ান আউট, বাকিগুলো হলো অর্গানেলস ইন প্লান্ট সেল। প্রস্টেট গ্ল্যান্ড, কাউপার্স গ্ল্যান্ড, সেমিনাল ভেসিকেল, সেমিনিফেরাস টিউবিউল, এর মধ্যে কোনটা অড ওয়ান আউট? সেমিনিফেরাস টিউবিউল। বাকিগুলো কি? অ্যাক্সেসরি গ্ল্যান্ডস ইন মেল রিপ্রোডাক্টিভ সিস্টেম। এইবার the diagram given below represents a stage during cell division. Animal cell because it lacks cell wall. Identify whether it is a plant cell or animal cell. Animal cell কারণ এটায় সেল ওয়াল নেই, প্লান্ট সেল হলে এটায় সেল ওয়াল থাকতো। নেম দ্য স্টেজ depicted in the diagram metaphase. What is the unique feature observed in this stage? মানে মেটাফেজে ইউনিক ফিচার কি থাকে? Chromosomes lined up in one plane at the equator. Next, name the type of cell division that occurs during the replacement of old leaves by new ones. Mitotic cell division. Formation of gametes, এটা কি? Meiosis বা reductional cell division. Number 4, what is the stage that comes before the stage shown in the diagram? Prophase comes before metaphase. Number 5, draw a neat table diagram of the stage mentioned in above keeping the chromosome number constant. একটা ছবি এঁকেছে প্রোফেজের, তাতে নিউক্লিয়ার মেমব্রেন ডিসঅ্যাপিয়ার্স আর স্পিন্ডেল ফাইবার্সের ছবি দিয়েছে। মেনশন the exact location of the following: epididymis, male reproductive system; lacrimal gland, eyes; malleus, middle ear; hydatodes, leaf of plants; pulmonary semilunar valve at the opening of pulmonary trunk in right ventricle. Next, given below the diagram showing different stages in the process of fertilization of an egg in human female reproductive tract. Study the diagrams and answer the questions. চারটে ডায়াগ্রাম আছে, প্রথমে ডি, তারপর সি, তারপর বি, তারপর এ। এটা ডায়াগ্রাম না দেখলে বোঝা যাবে না। where does fertilization normally take place? Ampullary, কারণ isthmic junction in fallopian tubes কি ampullary, isthmic, ISTHMIC, isthmic junction in fallopian tubes. Where does fertilization normally take place? What is implantation that follows fertilization? What is implantation that follows fertilization? Implantation is the attachment of developing fetus to endometrium, মানে blastocyst. Implantation is the attachment of developing fetus, মানে blastocyst, to endometrium. Next, mention the chromosome number of the egg and zygote in humans. Egg is haploid, 23 number. Next, zygote is diploid, মানে 46. Egg is haploid, 23. Zygote is diploid, 46. Explain the term gestation. How long does gestation last in humans? The intrauterine period of fetus in mother's body, or the period from zygote to fully formed fetus in uterus, period is gestation period. Key, the uterine period of fetus in mother's body, or the period from zygote to fully formed fetus in the uterus, is the period of gestation. It is about 280 days, মানে 9 months 7 days. এবার একটা ছবি দিয়েছে। A potted plant with variegated leaves was taken in order to prove a factor necessary for photosynthesis. The potted plant was kept in the dark for 24 hours and then placed in bright sunlight for a few hours. Observe the diagram and answer the following questions. What aspect of photosynthesis is being tested in the above diagram to show that chlorophyll is necessary for photosynthesis? Represent the process of photosynthesis in the form of balanced equation. 6CO2 plus 12H2O gives C6H12O6 plus 6A2 plus 6H2O. What was the plant? Why was the plant kept in dark before beginning the experiment? To destarch the leaves. What will be the result of starch test performed on one if A shown in the diagram? Give an example of a plant with variegated leaves. Okay, it will not turn blue. Example of plants with variegated leaves is Oxalis species. এবার নাম্বার 5, রাইট ড্র আ নিট লেভেল ডায়াগ্রাম অফ ক্লোরোপ্লাস্ট, ওটা এঁকেছে। thylakoid, stroma, গ্র্যানাম ইন ভার্টিক্যাল সেকশন, ফ্রেট, ক্লোরোপ্লাস্ট এইসব এঁকে গেছে। নেক্সট, the diagram given below shows the internal structure of a spinal cord depicting a phenomena. Study the diagram and answer the questions. Name the phenomena that is depicted in the diagram. Define the phenomena. এটা হচ্ছে রিফ্লেক্স অ্যাকশন ফেনোমেনাটা। Give the technical term for the point of contact between two nerve cells. সাইন্যাপটিক জাংশন। আর এই রিফ্লেক্স অ্যাকশনটার ডেফিনিশন হচ্ছে আ কুইক অটোমেটিক ইনভোলান্টারি অ্যান্ড অফেন আনকনসিয়াস অ্যাকশন ব্রট অ্যাবাউট ওয়েন দ্য রিসেপ্টর্স আর স্টিমিউলেটেড বাই এক্সটার্নাল অর ইন্টারনাল স্টিমিউলি। নেক্সট কোয়েশ্চেন, নেম দ্য পার্টস নাম্বারড 1, 2, 3। 1 হচ্ছে সেন্সারি নিউরন, 2 মোটর নিউরন, 3 গ্রে ম্যাটার উইথ সেন্ট্রাল ক্যানেল অফ স্পাইনাল কর্ড। Number 4. How does the arrangement of neurons in spinal cord differ from that of brain? The gray matter is present in the cortex consisting of cell bodies and white matter is present inside which consists of myelinated action in the brain. In spinal cord, the gray matter are present inside while white matter is present outside. Next, mention two ways by which spinal cord is protected in our body: vertebral column, meninges, and cerebrospinal fluid. Ever give appropriate biological or technical terms for the following: process of maintaining water and salt balance in the blood, osmoregulation, hormones which regulate secretion of other endocrine glands, tropic hormones, movement of molecule of substance from higher concentration to lower concentration when they are in direct contact, diffusion, uh, key condition in which a pair of chromosomes carry similar alleles of a particular character, homozygous or capital T small t condition in which pair of chromosomes carry similar alleles of a particular character. Homozygous, the complex consisting of DNA strand and core of histones. Diapedes, diapedesis, the onset of menstruation in young girl, menarche. Uh, Squeezing out of white blood cells from capillaries into surrounding tissues. Diastole, the fluid which surrounds the fetus. Amniotic fluid, the relaxation phase of the heart. ওই diastole, the difference between birth rate and death rate, growth rate. সব নাম্বার ভুল দেওয়া আছে। যাই হোক, নেক্সট, the diagram below is the structure present in human kidney. Name the structure: glomerular filtrate, liquid entering part 1 called glucose and amino acids. What name two substances present in this liquid are reabsorbed in the tubule? লিকুইডটা হচ্ছে গ্লুকোজ আর না, পার্টটা হচ্ছে নেফ্রন আর লিকুইডটা হচ্ছে গ্লোমেরুলার ফিল্ট্রেট। আর টু সাবস্টেন্সেস প্রেজেন্ট ইন দ্য লিকুইড আর রিঅ্যাবসর্বড ইন দ্য টিউবিল, গ্লুকোজ অ্যান্ড অ্যামাইনো অ্যাসিডস। The fluid that comes to part 2 is called urine. The main nitrogenous waste in it, urea. Mention the three main steps involved in the formation of fluid: ultrafiltration, selective reabsorption, tubular secretion. Next, name the substance which may be present in the fluid in part 2 if a person suffers from diabetes mellitus, glucose. Differentiate between the following pairs on the basis of what is indicated in the brackets: leaf and liver, which form in which glucose is stored. Leaf হচ্ছে starch, liver হচ্ছে glycogen. ATPs and AIDS. এটিপি হচ্ছে অ্যাডেনোসাইন ট্রাইফসফেট, আর এইডস হচ্ছে অ্যাকোয়ার্ড ইমিউনোডেফিসিয়েন্সি সিনড্রোম। টেস্টোস্টেরন অ্যান্ড ইস্ট্রোজেন অর্গান উইথ সিক্রেট টেস্টোস্টেরন টেস্টিস, ইস্ট্রোজেন ওভারিজ। ইউরেটার ইন ইউরেথ্রা ফাংশন, ইউরেটার হচ্ছে ট্রান্সপোর্ট অফ ইউরিন ফ্রম কিডনি টু ইউরিনারি ব্লাডার, আর ইউরেথ্রা হচ্ছে ট্রান্সপোর্ট অফ ইউরিন ফ্রম ইউরিনারি ব্লাডার টু আউটসাইড। নেক্সট হাইপোটনিক সলিউশন অ্যান্ড হাইপারটনিক সলিউশন। হাইপোটনিক সলিউশন হচ্ছে টার্জিড, হাইপারটনিক সলিউশন ইজ ফ্ল্যাসিড। Given below is the diagram of blood smear. Study the diagram and answer the questions that follow. Name the components numbered 1 to 4: RBC, neutrophil, blood platelets, blood plasma. Mention two structural difference between the parts 1 and 2. RBC and neutrophil difference key: biconcave disc shaped RBC. RBC do not have nucleus. Neutrophil হচ্ছে amoeboid আর have 3 to 5 lobed nucleus. Next, name the আচ্ছা কার আনসার? ও আচ্ছা, এইটার বোধহয় আনসার। দ্য ডায়াগ্রাম processed in maps, the setup was placed in bright sunlight. Answer the following questions. Name the physiological process depicted in the diagram. এটা হচ্ছে প্রসেসটা হচ্ছে ট্রান্সপিরেশন। Why was oil added to water? Oil was added to water to prevent its evaporative loss. When placed in bright sunlight for 4 hours, what do you observe with regard to initial and final weight of the plant? Give suitable reason. Upon exposure to bright sunlight for 4 hours, the final weight will be lesser than initial weight because some water will be lost from aerial parts of the plant by transpiration. Next, what happens to the level of water when this setup is placed in humid condition? No change in level of water. আর windy condition দিলে the level of water drops. Mention 3 adaptations found in plants to overcome the process. আর explain the term gradation. তিনটে adaptation found in plants to overcome transpiration হচ্ছে sunken stomata. The stomata may be sunken or covered by hairs. Example, nerium. Narrow leaves. The leaves may become narrower to reduce surface area. Fewer stomata. The number of stomata may be reduced. এবার explain the term gradation. The leaves of certain plants exhibit droplets of water along their margins in the morning. This particularly happens in plants growing in warm humid conditions. A humid environment hampers transpiration while the roots continue to absorb water from the soil. This builds up a high hydrostatic pressure within the plant and forces out the excess water directly from tips of veins in the leaf by a process called guttation. Next question. A pea plant which is homozygous for green pods which is inflated is crossed with homozygous plant for yellow pods which are constricted. Answer the following questions. Give the phenotype and genotype of F1 generation. Phenotype of F1 generation, pea plant with green and inflated pods. Which type of pollination has occurred to produce F1 generation? Genotype of F1 generation, capital G, capital small g, capital I, small I. Phenotype of F1 generation, pea plant with green and inflated pods. Uh, আর artificial cross pollination has occurred to produce F1 generation. কি বলছে? Give the phenotype and genotype of F1 generation. Phenotype of F1 generation, pea plant with green and inflated pods. Genotype of F1 generation কি? Capital G, small g, capital I, small I. এবার artificial cross pollination has occurred to produce F1 generation. Next, write the phenotypic ratio of F2 generation. Phenotypic ratio of F2 generation 9 is to 3 is to 3 is to 1. Write the possible combination of gametes that can be obtained if two F1 hybrid plants are crossed. Possible combination of gametes that is obtained if two F1 hybrid plants are crossed are as follows: G capital G capital G small g capital I, small g small I. State Mendel's law of segregation of gametes. The two members of a pair of factors separate during the formation of gametes. This is Mendel's law of segregation of gametes. What is the scientific name of plant which Mendel used for experiment on inheritance? Pisum sativum.